Both China and the Philippines have certainly have provided different accounts of the incident, highlighting the complexity and sensitivity of the ongoing disputes in the region. The only reasonable, practical, and long-term solution, in my opinion, lies in negotiations and dialogue.
Yes, the South China Sea issue is a complicated issue, and particularly because of the involvement of the United States, it becomes even more complicated. And because of this, the China-Philippine tensions in this region has kept escalating. And on June 17, several days ago, and 3 Philippine vessels illegally invaded into the China waters near the Renaijiao of Nansha Qundao area. So the Chinese Coast Guard detected these 3 vessels and intercepted them, boarded them, and inspected the 3 vessels. But the Western media reports give a different narrative. The Business Insider reports the Philippine soldiers fought off China Coast Guards who had swords. So what's your comment on this incident?
Well, media coverage of any, international dispute is always, again, very complex to understand because things more often than not are depicted from a particular side depending on which media we are reading on. So in this case, of course, we all know that the West has some kind of animosity with China as of now, with all the various geostrategic factors at play. So media would obviously report it in a different way. But I think that the recent incident of the collision between the Chinese and the Philippine vessels in the South China Sea is a serious and concerning development. Both China and the Philippines have certainly have provided different accounts of the incident, highlighting the complexity and sensitivity of the ongoing disputes in the region. But from the Chinese perspective, the Philippine ship allegedly entered the waters near Renai Reef illegally and approached a Chinese vessel in a dangerous manner. Resulting in the collision, the Chinese Coast Guard emphasized that their actions were in accordance with their laws, and they placed the blame entirely on the Philippine side. The Philippine military, again, has been reported in different media have described the Chinese Coast Guard's reports as misleading, and they maintain that their ship was conducting a legitimate resupply mission within their exclusive economic zone. The Philippines pointed out that the Chinese presence and actions in their EEZ are illegal. So as I was mentioning, that of course there is a different point of view there, but of course one has to also understand that this difference between regional neighbors are being exploited by some external elements and external powers which have a different agenda altogether. They would not like to see perhaps a peaceful solution to this dispute because their whole idea is to exploit this situation and try to put blame on China, which they have done on various other factors. So this incident particularly underscores how swiftly these disputes can escalate into a dangerous situation, and also the need for both sides to exercise restraint and engage in constructive dialogue. All sides need to recognize that military conflict cannot be a permanent solution and will only end up harming regional interests. The ongoing crisis actually between Russia and Ukraine, it has been on for more than 2 years now, serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of armed conflict. So I believe it is crucial that Asian countries, including the Philippines, avoid getting drawn into a power struggle between the US and China. The US has been actively supporting regional allies and encouraging them to take a firmer stance against China, which can escalate tensions. The only reasonable, practical, and long-term solution, in my opinion, lies in negotiations and dialogue. And there has been, a kind of an agreement between China and the ASEAN countries in the form of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, which was signed in 2002. which was established by China and the ASEAN countries, as I said, it provides a framework for peaceful resolution of disputes. So it is imperative that all parties commit to abiding by international law and working towards mutual understanding and cooperation in South China Sea. By prioritizing diplomacy over confrontation and adhering to the principles of the DOC, China and ASEAN countries, including the Philippines, can mitigate tensions, build trust, and pave the way for sustainable peace and stability in the region. Dialogue and negotiations free from external pressures remain the best path to managing and eventually resolving these complex disputes.
Yes, I agree with you. And maybe the negotiation and a peaceful solution is a better solution to all the conflicts because military conflicts cannot solve any problems. So, such as the Russia-Ukraine conflict that lasted over 2 years. Okay, that's all for today's two questions. And thank you again.